Hello class. In this video I'm going to show you how to make sort of this cloud-like effect in sky that's in this drawing, which I know is covered up by a lot of things, but it was sort of fun to do. And in another video I showed you how to make bushes, such as down here and down in here, and actually it's pretty much the exact same technique I used with a little twist to make that, give it that texture, because really what it is just creating the right kind of texture or controlled texture that you can draw on fairly easily to make interesting effects, which allows you to do the sky or the clouds. So I'm going to jump over to Illustrator. And what I have here is I already have a gradient as a base. So the first thing you want to do is you always want to make a gradient. It could be blue to blue, it could be a sunset, it could be sort of this golden color, whatever the case might be. You just want some sort of gradient. And I'm going to just lock that layer and put a new layer above it. Then the layer above it, you want to do what I use is just a solid color. You might be able to use a gradient here as well, but I made my clouds a gray color, and you want to just cover over the pretty much the same exact thing. So just make it all gray, just like that. Again, if you wanted white clouds, you could use white, or if you wanted to have the clouds reflecting some sort of color, as is sometimes the case, you could do that as well, but in this case I'm just using a simple gray. Now the trick is to add the correct texture, and now I already have this set up, and you're going to add the texture to the mask, but I'm going to show you the texture outside the mask first. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a box that's made of a black line. In this case I'm going to do black because to make a layer mask I want the black to block out everything that's in this object. So black would be my right color choice for this case. And it relies on what I do a lot for organic shape, which is roughen, and tweak. So I'm going to go Effects, Stylize, Roughen, and I'm going to use, again, these numbers are going to be different based on your particular drawings, but these are what I was using. So this number, and I go to smooth and I say okay, and it just adds a little bit of squiggliness to it. And then by applying roughen again, you actually get another level of roughen out of it. So in this case I'm going to go 0.5, I'm going to go 100 and smooth and say okay. You can see it just sort of adds another level of detail. Almost hard to see at this scale, but it'll come out if you just trust me, so don't worry about it. So that was roughen. Now I'm going to go to tweak. In tweak we're going to see a lot of change here. So I'm going to go to absolute, I'm going to go to 16.35 and 18.06 and say okay. We'll give it a second. We can see it does all of this level of work. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a dot to this thing, just like I did in the video for bushes. It's hard to see anything at this scale. You can read the numbers. Basically, the first dash is equal to the first point, and then every subsequent one is smaller than that, but purposely changes. And that's just to give it a bunch of dots when you zoom in like this. And then lastly, we're going to feather this out just so it's just not so strong. So stylize, feather, and say okay. And when this runs, we can see it starts to give this sort of feel of a, gossamer or fuzzy looking object, and that's basically what the cloud is. Again, it's black because I'm going to use it as a crop. So what I had done is I just dragged it into my graphic styles. I already have one in there from setting up this video, so I'm going to delete that out of the way, and I'm going to select my cloud layer, which in this case again is gray, and I'm going to go to my transparency, and I'm going to go to make mask, and I'm going to uncheck the clip because I like to draw on a white screen. So I'm going to click on this box to select my mask to make it active. I'm going to come over to my pencil tool, and I just drew basically a slightly curvy line like that straight across the page, and then I applied the black graphic style to this. So I'm pushing my computer a little bit here, but there we go. We can see when I do that, we get sort of the cloud. What really is what I'm doing is I'm giving the edge to this cloud, and I could do the same. So I just did this a few times. I sort of had a denser one down towards the center of my gradient, which might be down there, and And the one that I had done, I think I had sort of also sort of made them radiate out a little bit. So we'll go here. Oops, I deselected by accident there. Let's select it and hit the graphic style. I don't know if you're seeing a black screen like I am. I've got a bunch of stuff open here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep rating these out, but since it's being a little slow, I'm going to pause the video and come back. Alright, I'm back, so I'm still in the mask, and I just made some horizontal lines and some lines that sort of went up and angled and to get a shape like this. Now in the example one that I shown here at the beginning, I did do it like this where I had more clouds on one side and the other. We can see like this, but I also covered up a lot of them with trees, right? So that was the point of that. If you want the sky to extend, just take your masked objects further out to the side, whatever the case might be. Once you're done drawing those lines, come back to your transparency and come back to the regular object out here so you can go back to regular drawing mode. And one thing you might consider doing, here we go, I don't know again if you see this, my computer is just going a bit slow today with everything I have opened. There we go, back out to regular mode. And that's how I did the sky. Again, play with the colors of each layer that we have here, play with the settings and how to make this sort of fuzziness texture, and you can create really quite dramatic skies that you have full control over to really make great renderings. So good luck and have fun.